welcome back to my channel. My name is Autumn and I'm known as the Red-Headed Witch. As I'm recording this, we just experienced a solar eclipse in Gemini, and some of us may have experienced a lot of anxiety, some of us maybe we didn't be affected at all, or we were thriving. So I really hope that the solar eclipse treated you well and that the Mercury retrograde is also treating you well too. If you didn't know, I started a Patreon to create more in-depth content about witchcraft, paganism, and self-healing. There are two tiers available. One is $3, which essentially just gives you access to the content that I create either in video, audio, or blog format. And the additional one is $5 a month, and that grants you some tarot spreads and journal prompts. I'll probably be adding to these tiers as well, just as I grow this platform and this community. So if you are interested, be sure to check it out and see if it resonates with you. And they also get first access to any of my YouTube videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a shout out now because hopefully they're viewing this. So thank you all so much for supporting me, for being part of this community, and for joining me on this journey. So with that, we are about 10 days away from the summer solstice. So I thought, what better way to go ahead and talk about it and learn some correspondence so that you can kind of figure out how you may want to celebrate, if it's something that you want to celebrate within your own spiritual practice. So let's go ahead and get started with what is summer solstice, when is it celebrated? So summer solstice or midsummer is one of the 4 solar holidays. So this particular pagan holiday can be celebrated on the actual day of summer solstice, which varies depending on the year. So a simple Google search will help you figure out the date, and I believe this year it's on the 20th. So you may decide to celebrate on the exact day. You may also decide to celebrate the day before, the day of, and the day after. So whatever resonates with you. So pagan holidays typically have more than one name depending on the origin in which they're being celebrated in. So you may hear other individuals refer this day to as Litha or Midsummer. Midsummer is kind of a general name for this day of celebration. I'm gonna go ahead and say you don't have to be Wiccan in order to celebrate this specific pagan holiday. It is entirely up to you what you decide to celebrate, and if you want to celebrate all 4 of the solar holidays, or it's just completely up to you. This is a celebration celebrated across many different cultures. You've got Celtics, you've got Norse, you've got Jewish, you've got the Aztecs, the Greeks, and the Romans. When we look at these celebrations, we actually see some corresponding themes like fertility, abundance, prosperity, and good luck. Depending on the specific culture will vary depending on how they choose to celebrate with their own traditions and their own culture gods. Because this is referred to as a solar and a fire festival, you will see the theme of bonfires and celebrating around bonfires as well. In Celtic traditions, this is when the fairy folk would gather and travel to other people's homes, gathering any offerings such as honey, nectar, or sweet smelling foods. If the fairy folk is something that you are interested in researching, now is a great opportunity to do so. June is also the month of the oak tree, which is a Celtic sacred tree, and this tree represents fertility and strength. They also use light to banish away any negative or evil spirits, which is why you will see bonfires to be a tradition of celebrating the solar and fire festival, as well as spinning wheels, which resemble the sun being pushed down hills. It was also believed that jumping over the bonfire was good luck and good fortune. This is also the time when druids would gather around sacred herbs for healing magic, such as the mistletoe berry. This is when the Holly King and the Oak King battle for the throne. And this is when the Holly King overthrows the Oak King. And this is why we start seeing and experiencing shorter days and longer nights. The summer solstice or midsummer is the longest day of the year and the shortest night. So this is also a remembrance of change and transition because the Holly King has overthrown, and this is when we start entering into the darker side of the wheel of the year. So what do we celebrate for midsummer? Midsummer is a time of abundance, fertility, growth, and as you can see, as you look around yourself, the flowers are blooming, the animals are grown, and looking at my window now, I see birds at the feeder, and it's just a great reminder of the abundance that the earth is at right now. The power of the sun at solstice is at its highest point. So this is a great opportunity for strength and fertility. as well as creativity and healing, and also to embrace change and a new start to a new chapter. Because the sun is at the highest point as well, it also gives some empowerment to the spells that you decide to do for Midsummer, especially if you decide to use the solar energy or fire energy as well. Divination is also a tradition that is done during this night, so you may decide to do a tarot spread or throw some runes or bones, whichever divination feels right to you. So now that we've kind of discussed the history of Midsummer and some ways that you may celebrate and why we celebrate it, let's go ahead and move into correspondence. Some color correspondence for Midsummer are blue, green, and gold. Blue representing water, green representing the earth, and gold representing the sun. If you are interested in incorporating some solar energy, you can also include red and orange. Some corresponding herbs and plants include mugwort, vervain, chamomile, rose, lavender, and actually it was a tradition to throw a bundle of lavender into the bonfire for some good fortune. Some other herbs include St. John's wort, ivy, yarrow, and chamomile. I already said chamomile. Let's see, thyme and carnation and daisies. Some corresponding foods during this time are all seasonal vegetables and fruits, especially strawberries, red wine, and sweet cakes. You may also decide to make some sun tea during this time to embody the solar energy of the sun. Some magic that you may consider during this time is empowerment, inspiration, creativity, love, and healing. Also, this is a great opportunity to do any sort of green magic as well with any corresponding herbs and plants. Some corresponding crystals include amber, tiger's eye, emerald, and jade. Some corresponding animals include bees, butterflies, hawks and eagles, and cow. Again, this is a great opportunity to work with the element of fire as well as water too. So depending on your personal practice and what feels right to you and how you may celebrate this time of abundance and prosperity, I hope that these correspondence and this little history lesson gives you some insight and some inspiration. As always, I recommend extending your research outside of my YouTube channel to get a further in-depth understanding of Midsummer and how other cultures may decide to celebrate. As always, thank you for sharing this digital space with me, and I can't wait to either see you in my Patreon if you are a Patreon member, and or if you are just a subscriber. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to hear how you will be celebrating Midsummer.